Shout out to Uncle Snoop. You made beats for
Oh
him
yeah.
at a time when, yes, shout out. And he's a Libra. Woo woo. You made beats for him at a time where his sound and career were really in transition. On Paid the Cost to Be the Boss and R&G, Rhythm and Gangsta, the No Limit contract was up and he was creating a new era for himself with his own imprint back on the West Coast. What have you learned from working with Snoop?
Man, shout out to Big Snoop. I just talked to him the other day. He called me out the blue. He FaceTimed me like two
What
days
up,
ago.
nephew?
Yeah, he's like, ain't shit changed, nephew. I got this singer, blah, 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 but it's always good to hear from Snoop, man. Like, he's
Yes.
one of them guys that really, you know, man, he just, I don't know. If you ask me, he's one of the guys that say, if he didn't save hip hop, I don't know who did. You know what I'm saying? He was really, he had a lot of responsibility at the time when he was going through the transition of when Pac died and all of that. And Snoop was one of those guys that put people together. He was one of the first big rappers to start working with other artists from different cities and underground producers such as myself. He didn't look at me like, he always was trying to help the next person or the next artist come up, and he knew if he gave you that Snoop Dogg stamp, you was off and running. You know what I'm saying? So Snoop was actually during the High Technology album, I was supposed to have a record on my album by Snoop with Snoop and Devin the Dude. And he actually did the record, and that was my introduction to how I met Snoop. We basically Black Sean, the A&R, we went out to Cali, and my manager at the time, Zach, he's from Cali, and he made a contact to Snoop. And I had, prior to that, like a week before, I had seen Snoop in the booth on Rap City, and they was freestyling to the blast. And that's what made me reach out to him. And when I got the contact, Snoop was like, yo, you got to come out tomorrow. I was like, hell yeah, I'm on my way, And mind you, I'm trying to make Hi Tek now. I'm trying to work on this project. He's like, come out, because I was asking him to do something, work with him or whatever. And, long story short, I'll get to his house. I played him a couple tracks. I played him the two joints I produced for East Siders. Song I produced called Cool and East Side Riders. And he loved those joints. And then he laid the verse for my album. It was a song I did with Devin the Dude called Keep Going, which ended up on Coogee Rap's album. But that was a crazy time because, I'm a big fan of Snoop Dogg, just his legacy, period. You know what I'm saying? His energy, you can't, Snoop was a real one. And
Right.
he told me at that session during that time, he's like, yo, I'm going to come out to Cincinnati and work with you one day. So I'm like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think he was telling the truth, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, he might come out. So long story short, maybe 2002, maybe around 2002, he came to Cincinnati to my small studio. He brought the whole crew. He brought Don Juan. He brought his Uncle Junebug. He brought RBX, E White, Don Juan. Did I say Don Juan the Pip? He came out with him.
Yes.
Everybody. I mean, he had the whole tour bus, and he was working on a project called Doggy Style All Stars. I remember him walking into my small studio, and I just couldn't believe it. Like, I was starstruck. I ain't gonna lie. Like, not really starstruck. It
Yeah.
just felt like a dream. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
little old me, you come to see me, and and he kicked everybody out the room. He's like, yo, this is me and Tek. So I'm like sitting there like,
Yes.
so we started working. He was like, yo, we gonna go out to Boosie Collins' house and work too.
Get some Alabama's fish.
Yeah, go to Alabama's, hook up. And Snoop is real instrumental in my relationship with Boosie Collins too, because even though me and Boosie from the same city, we really didn't have that real relationship, and Snoop mended that at the same time. So, I mean, I could go on forever about Snoop.
I mean, Tony, you know that Snoop is instrumental in the success of The Blast because he had a
Right.
show on 92 The Beat when The Blast dropped, and he used to play it all the time on his show. And that's
Okay.
kind of how we started getting on in the West Coast.
Gotcha.
Snoop and DJ Quick was on the radio as well. And shout out to definitely Friday Night Flavors, the Beat Junkies, Mr. Chalk, J-Rock, Babu, and all them.
Right.
But, Snoop was a huge star taking interest in what we was doing.
Man, that's crazy, man. It's nothing but yeah, and Snoop and Dre, like my relationship, I hooked up with Dre on a separate note and Snoop on a separate note. Like we was, and I'm pretty sure they had conversations about me, like, you know, as far as, you know, the music they liked from me, you know, but I had like separate relationships with them. And just what they did for me and Quad and just my Hi Tek sound, like they made me real. I mean, California, like even on my Instagram, I get a lot of Cali love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that I could never, you know, that's just huge for me. You know, because I never thought my music would be able to reach that far.
Yeah, it's dope.
What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party. When opportunity knocking, then young nigga move that door. Whoa, get your foot stuck in it, call me young, go get it. Now you can't fuck with it, might as well roll with it. What's the